One, a two, one, two. Hey, it's Vaughn here at your jazzdrumschool.com YouTube channel. Aloha, hope you're doing well. So in this lesson, I want to share with you about an important concept that I think we often overlook when we're playing drums. So much these days, it seems like we're focused on technique and patterns, and we're not focused on groove and feel and time. And any of you out there who are regular working drummers, you know that the main reason you get called is because of your time and your feel. The drum fills and the technique and all that stuff is really secondary. So it's important to get our technique together. Don't get me wrong. I teach you a lot of technique at jazzdrumschool.com. I teach you a lot of patterns at jazzdrumschool.com. But the ultimate thing that you're learning over there also is how to connect your drumming to the music and how to have really good feel on the drums. Because that's what people are looking for. That's what they're listening for. And that's what's going to be the glue that connects everybody together in the band. So the question is, how do we get there? How do we get to that place where things actually sound good and people call us? You know, we get to gig, we get to play with other people. And I'll say it really comes down to two fundamental things, okay? The first thing is the spacing between your notes. So if the spacing between your notes is consistent, then people are going to feel like they can trust your playing, and they're going to be more likely to call you for playing opportunities. Let me give you an example of playing where I'm not really certain and my spacing isn't really even. And then I'll play again, and I'll give you an example of me playing where, like I normally play, where things kind of have a flow to them. All right, check it out. 1, a 2, 1, 2, a 3, 4. A 2, 1, 2, a 3. So could you hear the difference? The first one is really kind of not sure. And interesting enough, I was hosting a jam session yesterday, and I was watching some of the players, in particular the guitar players. And what struck me is that they knew how to play the right notes, but they didn't know how to play the right notes at the right timing. And that's okay, because it's a jam session, right? So everybody's learning and we're kind of helping each other, right? But what's interesting is that we just seem to focus on, when whatever your instrument is, we focus so much on the technique. And, well, what's the note I have to play? And for example, what's the swing pattern? What's the coordination of what I need to do, between my ride cymbal and my left foot and my left hand and my right foot? And then we kind of don't get focused on the part about that note spacing and getting things placed in the right location. And one thing you can think about is like we use in jazz, especially jazz swing, and I'm really focusing on jazz swing here. We use a grid, right? We use a triplet grid, basically. So if your notes aren't falling somewhere on that triplet grid, within reason, then there's going to be a problem. Then there's not going to be that trust. The other members aren't going to feel like, oh, I can trust this person because I know that they're steady, they're consistent, and they're timing the spacing of their notes. So the first step would be to really go back and get yourself locking in with that triplet grid. And one of the best and easiest ways to do that is to practice with a metronome, number one. And number two, make sure you count out loud. Count those triplets out loud. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a. And whatever you're playing, make sure that it's hitting somewhere on one of those triplets. Let me give you an example. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a, 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a, 1, 2, 3 and a, 4 and a, 1 and a, 4 and a, 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a, 4 and a, 1. Now, another part of your consistency and your feel and your time is where you play things in time. So, for example, if I'm playing something that is like I was at 80 BPM, 80 beats per minute, and if I'm just playing quarter notes on the ride cymbal, where am I playing those quarter notes really in relation to the click or to the metronome? Am I playing it on top of the beat, in the middle of the beat, a little behind the beat? And I've shared this a lot at jazzdrumschool.com, also here on my YouTube channel, but I'll want to do a really quick review. Imagine this is like regular, this is like metronome time right here. This is perfect timing. Imagine this is just a little bit ahead of the beat. This is a little bit behind the beat, okay? That means that I'm playing just slightly behind where the click is clicking, or I'm playing slightly ahead of where the click is clicking, or I'm playing right on where the click is clicking. Most of the grooviest, best kind of music out there is going to be a little bit behind the beat. Most of what we tend to play, especially when we're learning to play for the first time, is we tend to play on top of the beat. We tend to play ahead of the time. And we do this because we're learning how to train our muscles. And we're probably excited about learning something new and want to play it. But really, if you want to really get people to call you and play and have really great opportunities, I encourage you to focus your energy back here, a little bit behind the beat. Not too far back, but just a little bit behind the beat. That's going to make things a lot easier. It's going to let the music breathe more, and it's going to make everybody relax. And it doesn't matter what tempo it is. If you're going fast, if you can play a little bit behind the beat, it will relax that fast tempo, okay? The one caution is when you're playing ballads or you're playing really slow music, you got to be careful because you could really slow it down and it could just become this song of eternity, like what never ends, okay? So you have to be really careful about that. But in general, I try to play a little bit behind the beat. Now let me give you an example. I'm going to play along with the click again at 80 beats per minute, and I'm going to play first, I'm going to play right on the metronome. Then I'm going to slide it up to playing ahead of the metronome, and then I'm going to slide it back to playing a little bit behind the metronome. See if you can hear the difference. Check it out. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. So if you're just starting out on drums or you're just starting to learn how to play jazz on the drums, I encourage you to check out my Intro to Jazz Drumming course. I go much deeper into this concept of time, and a lot of other things are going to help your feel, especially on your ride cymbal. So could you hear the difference from when I was playing on the time to on top of the beat and a little behind the beat? Could you feel it or hear it? If you couldn't, go back and listen to it again. This is great ear training for you to start to hear the subtlety in timing. Now when we play jazz, we're playing with other human beings, and other human beings all have their own pulse and they have their own timing. And so what I have to do right away from the first note is to figure out where everybody's timing is, because then that's what I need to adjust what I'm doing. Sometimes I just lay it down and everybody adjusts to me, but most of the time it's a give and take, and that's how jazz is. It's a very democratic kind of process. So what I have to do is listen to what other people are doing and figure out, okay, where do I need to play to make everybody sound great? So for example, if the bass player is playing like way on top of the beat, I'm going to probably play pretty far behind the beat so that we don't speed up. We can kind of control the tempo. If the bass player is playing a little behind the beat, I'll probably play right on the beat, right on that metronome click, okay? If the bass player is playing right on the time, I'll probably play a little bit behind. So it really, in the real world, we have to adjust what we're doing because we're dealing with other people's sense of timing. And how do I know what that metronome timing is? It's the count off. So whoever counts off a tune, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, that's our metronome time. So really, if I kind of subdivide it, bop, 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 right? Kind of internally, I do that. I don't think in quarter notes really that much. I just think in the feel of the snap and the count off. But you know, internally, really that's what's happening. I'm feeling that quarter note pulse. Bop, 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 just like I was demonstrating for you with a difference in time when I was just playing quarters on the ride cymbal. So bop, 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 bop. That's my metronome time. So that's my reference point. So from there, I make all of my decisions about where I play based on that. So with all this stuff out there about play this pattern and this drum lick and this groove and that, we have to not forget that our primary job is to really play good time and good feel. And if we can do that, even if you don't have a lot of facility, like even if you can't play a lot of really interesting drum fills or your hands aren't quite together where you want them to be, if you just double down on that time and that feel, I guarantee you're going to have a lot more playing opportunities. Thanks so much for watching, and if you haven't already, I'd love it if you'd subscribe to my channel. Be sure to like the video if you like it. That helps it get around YouTube a lot easier. And drop a comment. Let me know if you think this is important, if you think time and feel are important in drumming, or if you think the technical side of drumming is more important. All right? Keep swinging, my friend.